Frederick amps up, dominates at P1, charging ahead in Redifilo Partenza. Cads from Jamaica blast into second in the Redifilo Partenza battle. Frederick charges ahead in Prima Curva Delesmo, leading the pack. Saint Dito charges hard in Prima Variante, battling for P3. Frederick charges into Variamente Ascari, leading the pack, fierce and focused. Project Purple storms into third, battling fiercely for every inch. Cads charges ahead, dominating P1 with blistering speed, no one close. Project Purple charges through Variante Ascari, holding strong in second place. "40 minutes left. The tension rises. Drivers push harder. Battles ignite. Cads battles hard, holding fourth in Prima Variante. Pressure mounting. Project Purple charges forward. Redifilo slips into P3. Tenza hot on their heels. Saint Dito charges hard in Prima Variante, battling fiercely for P3. Project Purple surges into second. Variante della Roggia battles fiercely. It's intense action. Cads charges up to P4, closing in on the podium. Project Purple charges forward, battling hard in second place. Eyes on the leader. Saint Dito charges through Variante Ascari, battling fiercely for second place. Frederick amps up, charges forward, battling for third. The crowd roars. St. Dito charges through Redifilo P2. Best lap 154.222, pushing hard. Frederick amps up, charges through Curva di Lesmo, now battling for P3. Project Purple leads in Prima Curva di Lesmo, setting a blistering 151.082 lap. Frederick amps up, charges ahead, battling fiercely for that podium spot. P3. Project Purple leads, charging ahead, fierce competition tailing close behind. Frederick amps up, charges forward. P3, pushing hard for that podium finish. Project Purple leads. Redifilo Partenza sets the fastest lap at 1 minute 50.152. St. Dito battles hard in Curva Biasone, holding strong at P2. Cads fights hard in Prima Variante, holds 5th place, pushing for more. "35 minutes left. The tension mounts. Drivers push harder. Strategies unfold. Sebastian Beaulieu battles for P4, charging through Curva di Lesmo. Project Purple charges ahead, dominating the track, leaving competitors in the dust. St. Dito battles hard, holding 3rd in Curva Biasone, pressure mounting. Cads fights hard in 6th, closing the gap, pushing for a top 5. Dalavalord charges hard, battling for 4th, eyes on the podium. Sebastian Beaulieu charges forward, battling fiercely in 5th place. St. Dito charges into P3, closing in on the leaders. Relentless pursuit. Project Purple surges ahead, commanding the race, leaving competitors in the dust. Cads battles fiercely in P4, pushing for a podium finish. Project Purple leads, charging through Curva di Lesmo, gaining momentum, pushing hard. Frederick amps up, charges to P3, clocking a blistering 152.091. Cads battles fiercely, holding 6th in Curva Biasone, pressure mounting. Saint Dito charges through Variante Ascari, holding strong in P4. Dalavalord powers through, fighting for 5th, pressure mounting, the race heats up. Project Purple leads in Curva Biasone, dominating the track, pushing hard, no signs of slowing. Dalavalord charges through Redifilo Partenza, now battling for 7th place. Frederick amps up, charges ahead, battling fiercely for 3rd place, feeling the pressure. "30 minutes to go. The tension rises. Drivers push harder. Stakes higher." Oz 3N Rockets from Canada, battling fiercely in P6, pushing hard. Frederick amps up, charges in Prima Variante, 3rd place, best lap 151.157. Sebastien Beaulieu charges into 2nd, clocking a blistering 150.155, best lap. Saint Dito rockets through Redifilo, holding 4th with a blistering 152.238 lap. Project Purple leads at P1, best lap 150.015, pushing hard through Curva di Lesmo. Saint Dito charges through Variante della Roggia, now battling for 4th place. Frederick surges in Curva Parabolica, now 3rd and charging forward. Austrian charges through Curva Parabolica, fighting for P6, gaining ground fast. Frederick charges through Curva Biasone, battling fiercely in P3. Cads battles hard in Curva di Lesmo, now P5, best lap 152.294. Austrian rockets through Variante della Ruija, holding P6 with a blistering 154.936. Frederick charges into Curva del Seraglio, now P3, pushing hard. Cads battles fiercely in Curva Biasone, holding strong in 5th place. Saint Dito charges forward, battling fiercely in 4th place. Frederick charges to P3, closing in on Ma Varian. The battle intensifies. Project Purple takes the lead in second Curva di Lesmo, charging ahead. Sebastian Beaulieu charges hard, battling for second, closing in on the leader. "25 minutes left, drivers pushing hard, strategies unfolding, tension rising." Dallavalord rockets to P8 in Prima Variante, fierce battle ahead. Ryan charges through Variante Ascari, battling fiercely for P7. Frederick amps up, charges through Curva Parabolica, now in 3rd place. Cads surges through Curva del Seraglio, holding strong in P5. Project Purple takes second at Curva di Lesmo. Charging ahead, relentless speed. Sebastian Beaulieu leads, clocking a blistering 149.938 best lap. Dallavalord in P8, charging hard, closing the gap, eyes on the prize. Frederick amps up, battles hard in Curva del Seraglio, holding on to P3. Saint Dito charges forward, battling fiercely for 3rd in Prima Variante. A. Ryan charges ahead, fighting for position, now P7. Asen battles hard, pushing into 7th, chasing down the pack. A. Ryan charges through Curva Biasone, holding 6th with a blistering 154.145 lap. Cads from Jamaica rockets to 5th in Redifilo Partenza, fierce competition ahead. Saint Dito charges through Curva Parabolica, holding strong in 4th place. A. Ryan charges hard, slicing through traffic, battling for a top 5 spot. Osterin battles hard in 2nd Curva de Lesmo, holding P7 tight. "20 minutes left. The tension mounts. Drivers push harder. Stakes are sky high. Frederick powers up to 3rd, charging past the competition, fierce and focused. A. Ryan charges in Curva Biasone, holding P6 with a blistering 153.090. Os 3N battles hard in Redifilo Partenza, holding strong in 7th place. A. Ryan surges hard at Curva del Seraglio, battling fiercely for P6. Project Purple leads Prima Variante, setting a blistering best lap of 149.505. A. Ryan charges forward, battling fiercely for P6, closing in on the pack. Project Purple charges ahead, maintaining P1, fierce competition hot on their tail. Frederick amps up, charges through, now P3, closing in on the leaders. Project Purple storms ahead, commanding the lead, Italy's pride on full display. Sebastian Beaulieu charges through Curva del Seraglio, holding strong in 2nd place. Project Purple leads Prima Variante, charging ahead full throttle, chasing victory. Saint Dito charges hard, slicing through the pack in P4. Frederick surges in Pre. Maverian holds third, tension builds, the race heats up. Sebastian Beaulieu charges in Curva Biasone, battling fiercely for P2. A. Ryan charges hard in Curva Biasone, now battling for 6th place. Project Purple charges ahead, leading the pack, dominance on full display. "15 minutes left. Drivers push hard, battling for every inch on track." Os 3N charges hard, 5th place, blazing a best lap of 1:52.275. Sebastian Beaulieu storms into second, clocking a blistering 1:49.511. Frederick battles hard in P3, closing in on Maverian. The tension rises. Sebastian Beaulieu storms in Variante della Roya, battling fiercely for 2nd place. Project Purple surges ahead in Curva Parabolica, clinching P1. Sebastian Beaulieu charges hard, battling fiercely for P2. Cad storms into P6, battling fiercely for every inch. Os 3N surges from Canada, battling fiercely in P5, closing in fast. A. Ryan storms through Curva Parabolica, holding strong in P7. Sebastian Beaulieu charges in Variante, battling fiercely for P2. Frederick amps up, Surges in Prima Curva di Lesmo, now P3. Dallavallord powers through the pack, now battling for P8. Sebastian Beaulieu attacks, closing in on the leader. Fierce battle for first. Cads battles hard in P6, navigating the Curva di Lesmo fiercely. Dallavallord battles fiercely in 8th, pushing hard through Curva Biasone. AS3N charges through Curva di Lesmo, holding P4, clocking a blistering 152.095. Cads storms through the pack, now P6 in Rettifilo par Tenza. Austrian charges ahead, battling fiercely in P4, eyes on the podium. Ten minutes left. The drivers push harder, tensions rising, battles intensifying. Saint Dito charges forward, battling hard for 5th place. The pressure mounts. Project Purple leads at Curva del Seraglio, pushing hard, maintaining the edge. Saint Dito charges hard, battling for P5, closing in on the leaders. Ryan charges through Curva del Seraglio, battling hard for P7. Sebastian Beaulieu charges hard, battling for 2nd in the Rettifilo par Tenza. Saint Dito charges through Curva del Seraglio, holding strong at P5. Sebastian Beaulieu charges hard in Variante, battling for P2. Ryan charges through Curva Biasone, now battling for 7th place. Project Purple leads, charging ahead, while competitors scramble for position. Fierce battle brewing. Ryan charges through Curva del Seraglio, holding strong in 7th place. Dalavalord charges hard at P8, closing in on the pack ahead. Frederick storms into Curva Bia zone, holding third strong, pushing hard. Saint Dino charges forward, battling for fourth, relentless and determined. Frederick powers through Curva del Seraglio, now in third place. Project Purple leads the pack, charging ahead, relentless and fierce. Saint Dino sprints into fifth, battling fiercely in Prima Variante. Five minutes left. Tension rises. Drivers push limits. Every second counts. Ryan charges through Variante Ascari, now in seventh place, gaining ground fast. Frederick charges through Curva Biasone, now battling fiercely for P3. As3N storms into P4, setting a blistering best lap of 151.757. Saint Dino charges hard, slicing through the pack, now P5. Frederick charges into Variante Ascari, now in third place, gaining ground fast. Austrian battles hard, slips to fourth at Curva di Lesmo. Ryan charges forward from P7, closing in on the leaders. Relentless speed. Frederick charges through Curva Bia zone, now in P3, relentless pursuit. Oz3N rockets past Tenza, now charging for third place. Ryan charges in Prima Variante, holding P5, clocking a blistering 151.762. Frederick flies through Variante Ascari, now in third, chasing down the leaders. A. Ryan charges forward, battling for fourth, fierce determination in every turn. Frederick charges ahead, amps up in hot pursuit. Tenza clings to third. Saint Dito surges through Redifilo, now up to sixth place. As 3N from Canada charges into fourth, closing the gap fast. Dalavalord battles fiercely in Prima Variante, holding strong in eighth place. Cads charges into P7, gaining ground on the pack. Project Purple storms into P2, closing in on the leader fast. Dalavalord fights hard, battling for P8 in Curva Biasone. Saint Dito charges through Redifilo, battling fiercely in P6. Cads battles hard, charging through to P7, making every move count. Dalavalord battles hard, charging in P8 at Variante Ascari. A. Ryan charges through the pack, now battling fiercely in P5. Dalavalord charges through Redifilo Partenza, now in P8, fierce and focused. Oz3N battles hard in Prima Variante, pushing fiercely for P4. Cads battles hard in Redifilo, now charging from 7th place. A. Ryan charges forward, battling fiercely in 5th place, eyes on the prize. Project Purple charges into 2nd, closing the gap on the leader. A. Ryan charges through the pack, now battling fiercely in 5th place. Qualification underway at Monza. Drivers push limits, engines roar, tension builds, thrill ignites. Project Purple storms ahead. Redifilo Partenza leads the pack. St. Dido charges hard, slicing through traffic, eyeing that top 5 spot. A. Ryan charges from Italy, battling fiercely in 4th place. Sebastian Beaulieu charges from Canada, holding strong in 7th place. Dalla Valord battles hard, holding 3rd in Curva del Seraglio. Pressure mounts. St. Dido charges through Redifilo Partenza, battling ferociously for P7. Project Purple battles hard. Redifilo Partenza charges to P7. Project Purple surges ahead, gaining 5.70 in Variante della Roggia. Project Purple rockets ahead, gaining 6.25 in Curva del Seraglio. Project Purple rockets ahead, gaining 6.53 in Curva Parabolica. Incredible speed. Ryan charges to 6th, gaining 15.20 seconds, pushing hard for more. Ryan charges ahead, 14.36 seconds clear in Prima Curva di Lesmo. Dallavalord charges through Redifilo, now in 8th place, pushing for more. "10 minutes to go, the tension mounts, drivers push limits, positions are shifting." Project Purple charges to P2, gaining 0.17 in Variante Ascarai. Dallavalord charges forward, 8th place in sight, pushing hard for a breakthrough. Dallavalord surges ahead, 5 seconds clear of Variante in a thrilling race. Dallavalord rockets up, 9.30 in Curva del Seraglio, charging ahead. Dallavalord surges ahead, gaining 7.74 in Curva Parabolica. Incredible speed. Ryan rockets to P7, gaining 1.94 seconds, charging ahead. Ryan charges ahead, gaining 12.19 seconds in Curva Parabolica. Sebastian Beaulieu leads P1 by 0.12. Best lap, 148.881, flying ahead. Sebastian Beaulieu seizes provisional pole, clocking a blistering 148.809. Sebastian Beaulieu surges ahead, 0.04 seconds in front of Prima Variante. Dallavalord charges into 7th, gaining momentum, eyes on the track ahead. S3 charges forward, battling fiercely for P5, relentless and determined. Os 3N surges ahead, gaining 0.01 in Curva Biasone. Incredible pace. BTA3 Dalavalord charges to 8th, gaining 1.81 seconds in Prima Variante. Cads charges forward, battling fiercely in 7th place. Cads rockets ahead, 0.53 seconds up on Variante. Thrilling move. Cads flies past, gaining 0.79 in Curva del Seraglio. Five minutes left, tension rising, drivers pushing limits, every second counts. Cads rockets ahead, gaining 0.63 seconds in Curva Parabolica. Cads moves up to P8, clocking a 152.890, 4.081 off pole. Nick Edwards charges in P3 at Curva di Lesmo, 0.43 seconds up, best lap, 150.106. Nick Edwards rockets ahead, 0.69 in Variante Ascari. Nick Edwards gains 1.03 seconds in Curva Parabolica, charging ahead. Nick Edwards charges to second with a blistering 149.030, just 0.221 off pole. Nick Edwards surges ahead 0.02 seconds in Redifilo Partenza. Dalavalord charges to P9, gaining 1.81 seconds on Variante. Ryan in Prima Variante charges to 4th, gaining 1.71 seconds. Nick Edwards charges through Prima Curva di Lesmo, holds second, leads by 0.45. Nick Edwards surges ahead, gaining 0.38 in Variante Ascari, charging forward. Nick Edwards rockets ahead, gaining 0.30 in Curva Parabolica. Nick Edwards seizes provisional pole, blazing a 148.685 time. St. Dito charges to P7, slicing through Curva di Lesmo, gaining 0.46 seconds. St. Dito rockets ahead, gaining 0.80 in curva parabolica. St. Dito charges to P6, clocking a 151.928, 3.243 off pole. St. Dito surges ahead, 0.01 seconds clear of Prima Variante. Sebastian Beaulieu storms to provisional pole, clocking a blistering 148.480. Nick Edwards battles hard in P2, pushing for the lead in overtime. Nick Edwards snags provisional pole, blazing a 148.383. Austrian charges to P7, battling fiercely for every inch. Austrian charging to P6, clocking 151.697, just 3.314 off pole. Ryan charges into P4, closing in on the leaders. Frederick amps up, charges 5th, gaining 0.18 in second curva di Lesmo. Frederick amps up, surges ahead, 0.11 in Variante Ascari. Incredible speed. Dalavalord surges to P9, gaining 0.14 seconds. The battle intensifies. Frederick amps up, surges from Italy, charging to 5th, now 8.22 seconds behind. Sebastian Beaulieu in Variante della Rovescia charges to P2, leads by 0.11. Bullet storms through curva parabolica, battling hard in P10 on hards. Lap after lap, drivers push hard, battling for position at Monza. Tension rises. Nick Edwards charges ahead, leading the pack, dominating the race. Sebastian Beaulieu charges hard, battling for second place, relentless and focused. Project Purple storms into third place, battling fiercely for every inch. Ryan battles fiercely, holding fourth position, pushing hard for a podium finish. Frederick amps up, charging hard from fifth place in Italy. Oz 3N charges forward from Canada, now battling fiercely in sixth place. Saint Dito charges forward, battling fiercely for sixth place. "20 minutes left. Race starts. Nick Edwards leads the pack. Project Purple charges forward, closing in on the leader, gaining ground fast. Sebastian Beaulieu charges forward, battling fiercely in fourth place. Frederick charges through Curva Biasone, now in fifth place. Sebastian Beaulieu charges ahead, battling fiercely in P4. Sebastian Beaulieu charges into P3, closing in on the leaders. Austrian charges through Curva del Seraglio, holding strong in fifth place. Cads from Jamaica rockets through Variante Ascari, battling fiercely for P6. Project Purple rockets past Curva Parabolica, securing P2 in a thrilling chase. Oz 3N charges through Curva Parabolica, now in P5, gaining momentum. Project Purple charges hard, just 0.6 behind Nick Edwards in second. Austrian charges in Prima Variante, closing in on Frederick amps up in fifth place. Project Purple charges in P2, closing in on Nick Edwards, just 0.7 seconds back. Ryan charges in Variante, P7, closing in on Cads, just 0.8 seconds back. Ryan drops to 8th as Saint Dito charges ahead. Project Purple charges in Curva del Seraglio, P2, closing in on Nick Edwards. Charges through Variante Ascari, closing in on Frederick amps up in P4, 0.6 seconds. Project Purple charges in Curva Parabolica, just 0.6 seconds behind Nick Edwards. Os 3N charges through Curva Parabolica, closing in on Frederick amps up in P5. Project Purple charges hard, just 0.7 seconds behind Nick Edwards in second. Os 3N attacks, closing in on Frederick amps up, just 0.4 seconds behind in P5. Sebastian Beaulieu charges in Variante, P3, closing in on Project Purple, 0.9 seconds back. ANS closes in on Frederick amps up, just 0.9 seconds, in Prima Curva di Lesmo, 5th place. Frederick amps up charges forward, now in 5th, pushing hard for more. Frederick amps up, slips to P6. Cads charges ahead into P5. Sebastian Beaulieu attacks, just 0.4 seconds, off Project Purple in 3rd. Dallevalord pits from P10, strategy shift underway, tension rising. Dallevalord charges out of the pits, fierce and ready, BTA3 in hot pursuit. Saint Dido charges hard, battling fiercely in 7th place. Project Purple charges hard, closing in on Sebastian Beaulieu in P2, just 0.7 seconds back. Nick Edwards leads, 2.6 seconds clear of Sebastian Beaulieu. Fierce battle unfolding. Project Purple rockets into 3rd, 0.8 behind Sebastian Beaulieu in Curva di Lesmo. Ryan charges through Curva di Lesmo, battling fiercely in P8. Project Purple charges 3rd, closing in on Sebastian Beaulieu, just 0.9 seconds back. Saint Dido charges hard, slicing through the pack at P7. Saint Dido slips to P8. Ryan rockets into P7. Bullet rockets past Saint Dido, claiming 8th position in a fierce battle. Frederick charges forward, now in 6th place, gaining ground fast. Frederick amps up, flies past Pad Squared into 5th place. Cads storms into 6th, pushing hard, chasing down the pack. Project Purple charges in P3, closing in on Beaulieu, just 1 second back. Bullet charges into P8, gaining ground, closing in on the pack. Project Purple claws back, just 1.0 seconds behind Sebastian Beaulieu in third. Sebastian Beaulieu in P2, pushing hard, clocking a 1:49.368, just 0.138 off fastest. Project Purple charging hard in P3, closing the gap to Beaulieu at 1.4 seconds. Frederick amps up, pulls ahead, 3.1 seconds clear of Cad's. Last lap was blistering. "10 minutes left. Drivers push harder. Tension rises. Battles intensify. Who will seize victory?" Saint Dito charges through Rettifilo, battling for ninth place. Cads charges hard, closing in on Os3N in sixth place, just 0.8 seconds back. Cad storms past Os3N, claiming P5 in a daring move. Os3N charges hard, closing in on Cads, just 1 second back. Nick Edwards leads, clocking a blistering 1:48.965, just 0.353 seconds shy of the fastest lap. Os3N charges up, closing in on Cads, just half a second back. Thrilling battle. Nick Edwards leads, 1.7 seconds clear of Sebastian Beaulieu, charging ahead. Os3N closing in on Cads, just half a second separates them. Thrilling battle. Ryan dives into the pits, fiercely holding 8th place. Saint Dito storms into P8, charging hard in Prima Variante on lap 7. Os3N charges hard in P6, closing in on Cad's dock, just 0.7 seconds back. Sebastian Beaulieu charging in Curva Parabolica, just 1.4 seconds behind Nick Edwards in P2. Os3N pushes hard, closing in on Cadstar in P5, just 0.4 seconds back. Sebastian Beaulieu charges in Curva Biasone, hot on Nick Edwards' heels in P2. Os3N in P6, clocking a 1:52.098, chasing down the leaders hard. Nick Edwards leads at Curva del Seraglio, 1.7 seconds clear of Sebastian Beaulieu. AS 8 charges in Variante, P6, closing in on Cadstar, just 0.7 seconds away. Sebastian Beaulieu charges hard in P2, 1.4 seconds behind Nick Edwards. AS 3N charges at Curva del Seraglio, closing in on Cads in P5. Sebastian Beaulieu charges hard, 1.5 seconds behind Nick Edwards in second place. Five minutes to go. Tension mounts. Drivers push limits. The clock ticks down. AS 3N charges in P6, closing in on Cads, just 0.4 seconds back. Sebastian Beaulieu charges in P2, closing in on Nick Edwards, just 1.8 seconds back. AS 3N charging hard in Curva Biasini, closing in on Cadstar in P6. Sebastian Beaulieu charging in P2, 1.3 seconds behind leader Nick Edwards. AS 3N charges, closing in on Cad Spate for P6. This is intense. Sebastian Beaulieu attacks, closing in on Nick Edwards, just 1.4 seconds behind. AS 3N charges P6, dueling fiercely with Cads for position. AS 3N zooms past Cads for P5. Cads in 6th, closing in on AS 3N, just 0.9 seconds behind. Cads dives into the pits from P6, fueling up for the charge. Cads blasts out of the pits, racing into the action. Cads slips to P8 as St. Dito charges ahead. Sebastian Beaulieu charges in Curva Parabolica, 1.6 seconds off Nick Edwards in P1. Frederick Amsup charges forward, battling fiercely for P4, pushing hard. AS 3N charges forward, battling fiercely in 5th place, eyes on the prize. St. Dito charges, closing in on Bullet, just 1.3 seconds back now. Bullet holds P6. St. Dito closing fast, just 0.9 behind. Last lap was blistering. St. Dito charges Curva Parabolica, closing in on Bullet in 7th, just 0.7 seconds back. Nick Edwards leads 1.9 seconds clear of Sebastian Bolio. St. Dito charges hard, closing in on Bullet in P7, just 0.7 seconds back. Nick Edwards crosses the line, claiming victory in P1. What a finish! Sebastian Bolio charges to second place, battling fiercely for the lead. Project Purple charges to P3, battling fiercely for every inch. Frederick Amsup charges hard, battling for 4th, closing in on the podium. H3N charges forward, battling fiercely in P5, pushing for a podium. Threen rockets to P5, charging through the pack, relentless and fierce. Bullet charges across the line, securing a fierce P6 finish. Cads storms across the line, clinching 7th place in a thrilling finish. St. Dito charges to 8th, pushing hard through the pack, eyes on the prize. Saint Dito leads the pack at Monza, charging ahead with fierce determination. CAD storms into P2, chasing down the leader with fierce determination. Bullet battles hard, holding third, eyes on the prize, pushing for more. Austrian charges through the pack, now in fourth place, pushing for a podium. Frederick amps up, charges forward in P5, closing the gap fast. Project Purple charges forward, battling fiercely in P6, eyes on the podium. Sebastian Bolio charges through the pack, now P7 and gaining momentum. Nick Edwards charges forward, battling fiercely in 8th place, gaining ground. Saint Dito leads at P1, charging ahead with 20 minutes to go. Austrian charges through Prima Variante and P3, eyes on the prize. Saint Dito charges into Curva Biasone, holding strong in P2. Austrian charges forward, battling fiercely in P3, eyes on the prize. Saint Dito charges through Curva di Lesmo, holding strong in 2nd place. Oshsen battles hard in 2nd Curva di Lesmo, holding P4 tight. Saint Dito charges hard, closing in on the leader. P2 excitement builds. Saint Dito drops to 7th as Project Purple surges ahead. Bullet overtakes Saint Dito, claiming P7 in a fierce battle. Nick Edwards charges into 2nd, closing in on the leader fast. Sebastian Bolio charges forward in P4, relentless in Redifilo Partenza. Cads in Prima Variante charges in P2, just 0.1 seconds behind Nick Edwards. S3N in Curva Biasone holds P3, 0.5 seconds clear of Bolio. Cads in Variante della Roggia holds P2, 0.5 seconds clear of Austrian. Sebastian Bolio in P3, battling fiercely, 0.2 seconds ahead of Asren. Cads charges Curva del Seraglio, just 0.6 seconds behind Nick Edwards in 2nd. Sebastian Bolio in P3, 0.3 seconds ahead of Asen, charging hard. Os3N charges in, P4, closing in on Cadstar, just 1 second back. Cads battles hard in Curva Parabolica, just 0.2 seconds behind Beaulieu in third. Sebastian Beaulieu in Prima Variante holds second, 0.4 ahead of Cads. Bullet bolts out of the pits, charging back into the race. Frederick amps up, charges through Curva Biasone, closing in on Astrian in fifth. Sebastian Beaulieu attacks Prima Curva di Lesmo, chasing Nick Edwards just 0.8 seconds back. Project Purple charges in Prima Curva di Lesmo, P7, 1.1 behind St. Dido. "15 minutes left. Drivers push harder. Tension rising. Battles heating up." Sebastian Beaulieu charges hard, battling for P2. Frederick amps up, charges at P5, closing in on AHS3N. This is intense. Sebastian Beaulieu charges 0.5 seconds behind Nick Edwards in a fierce battle for first. Frederick amps up, charges in P5, closing in on AS3N, just 0.9 seconds back. Sebastian Beaulieu charges in Curva Biasone, just 0.7 seconds behind Nick Edwards. Frederick amps up, charges in Variante, closing in on ASS3N for P5, just 0.8 seconds back. Sebastian Beaulieu charging hard in Curva del Seraglio, just 1.3 seconds behind Nick Edwards in P2. Frederick amps up, charges hard at P5, closing in on HAS3N in P4. Sebastian Beaulieu charges in P2, closing the gap on Nick Edwards. Relentless pace. Frederick amps up, surges in Redifilo, now P5, closing in on Austrian. Sebastian Beaulieu charges in Curva Biasone, trails Nick Edwards by 1.5 seconds. Frederick amps up, charges through Curva Biasone, closing in on AS3N in fifth. Sebastian Beaulieu charges in second Curva di Lesmo, P2, best lap 149.468, closing in. Frederick amps up, charges through Curva del Seraglio, closing in on AS3N in 5th. Sebastian Beaulieu charges in P2, 1.5 seconds behind Nick Edwards. Frederick amps up, charges through Curva Parabolica, closing in on AS3 in P5. Nick Edwards charges hard, just 0.1 seconds behind Sebastian Beaulieu in P2. AS3N pulls ahead, holding 4th, 1.1 seconds clear of Frederick amps up. "10 minutes left. The tension rises. Drivers push harder, stakes higher. Nick Edwards charges into 2nd, closing in on the leader fast. Frederick amps up in P5, charging hard, just 0.6 seconds behind AS3N. Sebastian Beaulieu, charging in Variante Ascari, just 0.2 behind Nick Edwards in P1. Sebastian Beaulieu blasts past Nick Edwards, seizing the lead. Nick Edwards charges hard in P2, closing in on the leader. AS3N closes in on Cadstar, just 0.5 seconds separating them in P4. Nick Edwards closes in on Sebastian Beaulieu, just 0.1 seconds behind, tension rising. AS3N charges in Prima Variante, closing in on Cadstar in P4, just 0.4 seconds back. Nick Edwards charges hard in Variante della Roggia, just 0.3 behind Sebastian Beaulieu in P1. Nick Edwards flies past Sebastian Beaulieu, takes the lead at P1. Sebastian Beaulieu charges hard in 2nd, closing the gap, eyes on the leader. Frederick amps up, closes in, just 0.7 seconds behind AHS3N in 5th. Sebastian Beaulieu charges, just 0.2 behind Nick Edwards in a fierce battle. Nick Edwards charges hard in Curva Parabolica, just 0.2 behind Sebastian Beaulieu. Frederick charges through Curva Parabolica, closing in on AS3N in P5. AS3N charging hard in P4, just half a second off Cadstar in P3. Nick Edwards charging hard in Curva Biasone, just 0.2 behind Sebastian Beaulieu in P1. AS3N charging hard in P4, closing in on Cadstar just 0.6 seconds back. Nick Edwards charging in P2, just 0.2 seconds behind Sebastian Beaulieu. Sebastian Beaulieu charges hard, just 0.2 seconds behind Nick Edwards in P1. Cads battles fiercely, holding strong in 4th place, eyes on the podium. Cads slips to 6th, Project Purple charges past for 5th. Sebastian Beaulieu in P2, 0.4 seconds clear of Austrian, charging ahead. Austrian charges hard, just 0.4 seconds behind Sebastian Beaulieu in 3rd. Sebastian Beaulieu holds P2, 0.4 seconds clear of Austrian in Curva Parabolica. Five minutes left. Tension rises. Drivers push limits. Positions shake up. It's go time. Oz 3 charges forward, battling fiercely for P3, eyes locked on the prize. Sebastian Beaulieu charges hard, battling fiercely in 2nd place. Frederick amps up, holds 2nd, just 0.1 seconds ahead of Sebastian Beaulieu. Austrian in P5, charging hard, just 0.3 seconds off Project Purple. Oz 3N charges to P4. Frederick amps up, battling hard in 5th. Sebastian Beaulieu charges hard, just 0.3 seconds behind Nick Edwards in P1. AHS3N charges in P4, 2.1 seconds back. Project Purple pulls ahead, 1.3 quicker. Nick Edwards chases hard in Curva Parabolica, just 0.1 behind Sebastian Beaulieu. Frederick amps up, charges ahead in P5, 2.5 seconds clear of Cad Star. Sebastian Beaulieu charges in Curva Biasone, closing in on Nick Edwards, just 0.1 behind. Sebastian Beaulieu surges past Nick Edwards into 1st place. Nick Edwards charges into P2, closing in on the leader, relentless pursuit. Project Purple charges in P3, closing in on Nick Edwards, just 1.3 seconds back. Nick Edwards closes in, just 0.3 seconds behind Sebastian Beaulieu in P2. Nick Edwards drops to 4th as Oz 3N surges ahead. Cads rockets from Jamaica, closing in on Frederick Absup in 6th place. Project Purple closes in, now just 1.3 behind Beaulieu, gaining momentum fast. Cads fights hard in P6, closing in on Frederick Amsup, just 1.3 seconds back. Project Purple charges second, nails a blistering 149.997, chasing the leader hard. Cads closes in on Frederick Amsup, just 0.8 seconds back, gaining momentum. Nick Edwards charges through Curva del Seraglio, holding strong in 4th place. Cads battles in P6, clocking a 151.654, chasing the leader's pace. Sebastian Beaulieu crosses the line, takes P1. Project Purple charges to P2, Oz3N battles hard for P3. Nick Edwards charges to 4th. Frederick Amsup fights for 5th. Cad 6th. Bullet charges through the pack, now in 7th place, gaining momentum fast. Bullet charges to P7, battling fiercely for every inch on track. Saint Vito surges to P8, battling fiercely for every inch. Saint Dito charges through the pack, clinching 8th place.